Hello, welcome to all. It's a difficult time for all of us and a difficult task for all of us. That too, the reason being the starting of the coronavirus from Wuhan in China, which was noticed on 31/12/2019, which has slowly moved to the West and to the emerging economies in India also. The entire world is looking at China because China is considered as a country which has exported the virus to the world. So China is now facing a global pushback. The reason being because they only exported the virus and the problem arose from that country only. Scientists are doing research on every day. The Indian Council of Medical Research, the World Health Organization, etc. are doing research to find out the antivirus vaccine to combat the life of the human beings on the universe. Threat of life is on the one side. On the other side, the crisis of the economy. The economic point of view, it's a crisis of the economy. The entire world is looking at that. Scientists are really looking at to find out, to come out with a trial and to come out with an antivirus. It's a question of life. But according to the economic scenario, it is not the life alone. It is the economic situation, how to tide over the situation as far as a human being is concerned. The economy of on the economic point of view, the entire world is disrupted financially and economically. There is a disruption. So much so the disruption in the labor market too. The economy is undergoing a deeper recession. The entire world supply chain is going to be affected and it is disrupted, which is leading to economic disruption. We are aspiring for a $5 trillion US dollar economy, and somehow the entire aspiration, the planning of the government has undergone a sudden shake. The International Labour Organization has estimated that 61% of the informal workers and 70% of the formal workers are going to be unemployed in future. It is not a joke. Travel, tourism and hospitality industry is going to be the most highly affected sector. Manufacturing industry is going to be affected. Plantation is going to be affected. And in other words, no sector is free from this and all sectors are in deep crisis. The optimistic approach for the pandemic is that it should have a human approach and a humanitarian approach. On the other side, the government of India is coming out with a various notification to the effect that all enterprises, the employee should not terminate the employee, including a casual and a temporary or a contract employee, and the employee should be paid a salary. That has created a lot of confusion among the industrial sector. We are into a era of gig economy, where the gig economy is emerging, where the stable career is changed over to an independent worker. We have been thinking about a permanent, a stable career, but now we are thinking of a gig worker economy where the workers are tending to be an independent worker without an employer-employee relationship. But I am afraid that we are slipping towards from a service or a manufacturing economy to a consumption economy. Because we are not producing anything, we are not manufacturing anything. We are right now sitting at your home and everybody is consuming. There is no production. There is consumption on this side. So after the lockdown, we are really in a consumption trend, and the economy, I'm afraid that we are turning to a consumption economy. The macro and micro political situations are also changing, and it is a question of life followed by survival. On the one side, the government is anxious on the survival, so we are not allowed to go out. But on the other side, the human beings, the workforce, around 500 million workforce, are struggling for the survival. There is a mismatch between the revenue and expenditure for the government. The budgetary and extra budgetary allocations coming from the central and the state is not sufficing to support the industrial establishment. Our tech aspirations to create new jobs, remote working, co-working, teleconferencing, cloud sourcing have at least come to a temporary standstill. We have all been thinking that the tech economy, due to the advancement of the technology in industry, we were advancing. But the fact of the matter is, everything has come to a standstill, except now everybody is sitting at home and doing the work to a certain extent. It is also a fact that we are entering into the first stage of the fourth industrial revolution, the IoT, the Internet of Things, the most advanced technology. The Indian labor market is set for a significant disruption and turmoil. Transition in labor market, talent shortage in the labor market, technological revolution leading to socio-economic geopolitical changes in our economic scenario. Now, the employer is concerned with what you do and not where you do. So the trend of where you're doing is slowly disappearing, and what we do is important and where you do is not at all important. The employer is more concerned with what is the output. It is no more a job, it is a task only. Employers are not interested in employment, and they are interested only to look at your task. So the old concept of employer-employee relationship and the old concept of employment, permanency, etc. is slowly disappearing. The employer is concerned with the task. So there is a small shift from an employment to the task orientation. The evolving ecosystem of freelancers. We are hearing every day about the freelancers. The Uber, the Zomato, the Swiggy, they're all freelancers. Throughout the world there is an advent of freelancers, and India too is not an exception. The issues arising on a machine economy, now everything is tech-oriented economy, so that is why I use the word machine economy. Medium, small, micro establishments, units are looking for support from the government. The MSMEs are looking for soft loans from the banks for releasing their salary, or soft loans to the bank. Whether the government is supporting the industry is a big question. All are expecting fiscal and monetary stimulus to be announced urgently. The RBI is also, the industrialists are looking at RBI so that they can protect the business from the bankruptcy in the coming lockdown and immediately thereafter. The industries are marching towards a real shutdown, a knockout from the outstanding liabilities to achieve the financial closure. By the end of March 31st, we were all looking at a closure of the account. But unfortunately, what happened? The industries are heading towards a bankruptcy. The banks are demanding for the interest. The moratorium which we appear in the paper is only a moratorium for 3 months, March, April and May, and the banks are demanding after May, June, the industrialists who have taken loans will have to pay interest on interest over the loan which they have taken. So ultimately, the bank is gaining and the industrialists are discouraged. So the industrialists are looking at the future. Resilience and performance is a challenge for all of us. Survive in order to succeed. It's not succeed for survival. Now we want to survive in order to succeed in the industry. Our advancement in artificial intelligence, robotics, nanotechnology, 3D printing, virtual reality, augmented reality, big data analytics, people analytics, blockchain technology in travel and banking, etc. has created a total change in the industrial working scenario. We are proud of that. But unfortunately, the pandemic situation has created all the more difficulties. Scientists are into genetic research. We are hearing about genetics and genome studies, which shows that you can transform your biology in the way you want. The experience of love, compassion, joy, empathy, peace, etc. can connect you to the web of life. Your body is a process and you can reinvent the process and discover your cosmic self. This is all about the backdrop of the economy and the future of the job or the employment and the challenges ahead. Balance of power is shifting from the labor to capital. Earlier it was from the management to labor. Now it is the balance of power is slowly shifting to the from the labor to capital. The employer is the most powerful man. And right now when all of us are sitting at our home, particularly the employees who are getting salary from the employer, is fully dependent on the mercy of the employer. And the government of India is aspiring or looking at an inclusive growth, a growth for everybody. It is not a growth for a particular community or a particular category. An inclusive growth the government of India has been planning and aiming for years together, and at the most dangerous situation, the government is totally handicapped to support the industrialists because of the financial difficulties we have. As a matter of fact, enterprises are most worried about when there is no income, how can they pay salary to the employees? Whereas if you look at all the other developed countries, GCC countries, Kuwait, UAE, etc., where the government has given a free hand to terminate the employee, to reduce the salary, or to whatever action they can. Because even in US, the President says if it is not viable, they'll be sent back to their home countries unless you have a permanent residency in the country. So that is the outlook of the other governments, whereas Indian government is fortunately or unfortunately has come out with the legislation to pay salary to the establishment where there is no employment, there is no generation of income. I hope in the next session we can discuss on the enforceability or the legality of the salary payable to the employees when there is no employment, and that too during the lockdown period. Thank you very much.